What's up, guys? Um, so I was checking out this Instagram post this guy put at Line Cook Thoughts, and he posted essentially. Uh, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially getting rid of this outlaw mentality, and I know exactly what he's talking about. This kind of like we're outlaws and we're a pirate ship and we're outsiders, and I understand I understand where he's coming from, and the comment section was really interesting because you could see a very clear. I would say there's three people. The minority of it was like 18, 19-year old, 20-year-old cooks that are fairly new, and they felt that like they kind of like that's kind of like the romanticism of the kitchen. Fuck yeah, milk crates and we smoke cigarettes and you fucking asshole, this the fish is burnt. They've probably seen Gordon Ramsay way the fuck too many times. They've probably seen Tim Rao. Well, I don't know what his name is way too many times. Season 2 Chef's Table. Mr. I'm egocentric and I'm proud of it. You know. And then the two big camps were the old school guys and the new school guys. I definitely would have identified myself with the new school because I commented just that to me that kind of old style is just fucking dead. You know, given the internet, given the information that's out there, no one's gonna want to put up with that shit. You know, especially if you're just yelling for the sake of yelling. To me, if you're gonna come off like that, it comes off like you have no control of your emotions. You have poor communication skills because you're automatically going from 0 to 10. Really, you can't explain. I can understand if you explain something to me one time, two times, three times, four, five times. I get it. By the fifth time, dude, what the fuck? However, I do believe you got to take accountability if you're the one training someone. Look, I'm not going to get into semantics about, well, some guys just don't give a shit. No, no, no. You know fucking well what I'm talking about. If you can't fucking explain how to do a dish to a new guy, do you really know what the fuck you're doing? Take your time. The guy is new. You were new. Don't you remember what it was like to be new? And just because they treated you like shit, you're gonna treat the next guy like shit? I don't fucking think so, dude. Everyone there is there for different reasons. Some of them because they fucking love it and they've been cooking and they can tell you stories about like how their grandma used to cook and how in high school they would, invite friends over so they can cook. Then you have like the immigrant that's like, dude, this is what I can do. I gotta wash dishes and I moved up to prep and now I'm working the line. You have people like me who I needed a job and my alternative was washing cars. I didn't want to fucking do that. And I got a chance to work in a kitchen. I fell in love with it and I don't. It's fucking easy work for me. Everyone's there for different reasons. You know, I think there's an intensity to it. Yeah, definitely. There is definitely certain liberties that you can take in the kitchen. The way you speak, I think it's one of the last few places where freedom of speech truly is a thing. You know, and then you have, and then you had these other guys. I would say the old school guys, and it was just so, I felt that their view was just too extreme. They felt that unless you're just like yelling or getting up their ass, then that means that you're trying to pussify the kitchen. I mean, there was a guy that commented on a bunch of people's posts, and his thing, I mean, he kept saying like balance, 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 but he was essentially saying like, to be understanding and to be respectful of other people's feelings and stress and mental health, that's like a one-way trip to like having an HR run kitchen and then just fucking pussies and then some guy, you're going to be swearing. And I guess saying fuck is very important for him. And that he's afraid that the guy next to him is going to go to run to HR because, oh, my baby ears. It is just such an, I think such a, I'm gonna say it the way I would say it to a cook. I'm like, that's such a fucking boomer way of looking at things. Like that's how you're gonna view it, that extreme. Like, we're trying to better the kitchen. We're trying to make it an inviting place. If you want to work in the kitchen, yes, it's kind of like when I used to work construction. If you want to do construction, it's cool, but it's tough as shit, dude. You're working in the rain. You're working in the sun. Most of the time, there's no such thing as like, oh, well, we're off because of the weather. It's hard fucking work, And it does attract a certain type of people because most people don't want to do that. But you're not going to get people to stick around if first 2 days, immediately you're just fucking berating them. You're showing off how much you can fucking do. Who the fuck cares? I worked in a kitchen where the sous chef was my age, but he was an arrogant little shit. He'd always ask you these questions that obviously it's like, dude, I didn't go to the CIA. I don't know that. He want to share with you like how he went to fucking in a Michelin star restaurant, Masimoto in Italy. It's just, and every time a stage would come in, they would always make that comment, it's like, he's really arrogant. Like, yeah, I know. It's fucking obnoxious. And in that kitchen, dude, turnover was so high. I think I for sure was the longest lasting guy there. Then the next one I only lasted 5 months. I got let go just because I'm fucking stubborn as shit. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're not going to get rid of me like that. The next guy before me was 3 months and he just disappeared. He just didn't show up one day. And then from there, some people just fucking would walk out of the stage. The guy I was working with on pantry, he would explain things to you once. Sauces and shit that we had to do for our station, he would throw away the recipe because he had it all memorized, so only he could do that shit. Like, he was just very like, it was like I was intruding on his turf. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just here to do a job and maybe learn a thing or two. Calm the fuck down, And then I remember the sous chef, because I got frustrated, because it's like, this guy's literally not allowing me to, like, do my work. He's bitching me out for everything. In fact, sometimes I didn't even know why he was bitching me out. He just says, you're fucking up. What the fuck? I'm like, okay, can you tell me what? Oh, you don't know what you're fucking up on? I just explained to you how to make this dish, and you can't fucking do it right, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. And the sous chef, who, by the way, this cook is, like, talking shit about the sous chef to his face, behind him, calls him a pussy, calls him a faggot, all that kind of shit. The sous chef just like, listen, I know he's an asshole, and I know, he's a bitch, but he's fast and he's consistent. And right there, that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, those are your standards right there. As long as you're fast and you're consistent, it doesn't matter how you treat people. I disagree with that. Fuck that. And once I got let go, like about a week later, I got a stage at the place that I'm in now. I'm going to be 3 years in January. Completely different. Yes, you know what? The chef at the time, he definitely, when he would get mad, he'd get fucking mad. But it was that kind of thing. Like, you ever have a chef that's like, he gets mad, but it's very constructive. It kind of pushes you, Like, hey, Osway, we're 20 minutes behind on that. Maybe you want to pick it up a little bit? Oh, yeah, chef. I didn't find that insulting, Or, I remember there was a guy that was just like putting out burnt food. And the chef's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to put this shit out? And the cook's like, I mean, I'm behind. I got to put something out. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Listen, if you can't fucking do the job, I'll do it for you. And then I'll go find someone that can do it for you. Okay? He ended up taking over Sauté that day, and he sent that guy to the back. And then he had him restock our stations. But he didn't insult the guy. He wasn't, it wasn't like unnecessary, They would explain things to you. They would break it down. They wanted to be sure. Like, if you can't explain something to the next guy, do you really know what the fuck you're talking about? No one, I don't burn food intentionally. I fucked up. I don't know everything, and no one knows everything the first time, My mentor, Paul, he would tell me, like, whenever I'd go to stages, he would tell me little tricks that they would do to new guys. One of the tricks that really stuck out to me is they will try to rush you, knowing that you don't know what things are or what, or how to do things their way. He said, don't ever rush. Get it right. Just get it right, and it doesn't matter, if you have to take your time on it, because it's kind of like a trick. They want to see if you're going to get flustered, but if you just stay calm, You're obviously not going to get it right immediately the first time and quickly, but if you can just get it right, it shows them that, you can keep your head cool. And so that was the big thing. That was the big fucking divide in the comment section was. And I don't know how someone that's been in the kitchen for 20 years. I mean, if that's all they know, I guess maybe change is definitely scary for people. But for me, it's like change is coming. Look, if you disagree with what I'm saying, then I'm really sorry to break it to you, but change is going to happen whether you like it or not. There's more people out there that want change than you or the guy that's been doing it for 20 years. Okay? So don't be an asshole. Try to be a mentor. Have fun. And you're going to find a happy middle. Okay? Anyway, hope you like this video, dude. Comment, like, share, sub, dislike if you didn't like it. Alright, guys. Take care.